Chapter 1. Marsha is angry. Marsha is 17 years old. She works in a bookstore in the little town of Newport. Marsha likes books and she likes her work. But after work, she likes to act in plays with the Newport players. The Newport players do 6 plays every year and Marsha is in most of them. Some plays are exciting and some plays are famous. This week, the play is Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. A lot of people are coming to see it. Marsha thinks, I must act well. Mike is 18 years old. He is a student at Newport College and he likes writing. One day he wants to write plays for the theater and for television. One day I want to be famous. He thinks. Newport has a newspapers. The Newport Weekly News is its name and Mike's Aunt Peggy is the editor. One morning, she phones Mike. Do you want to write a review of Romeo and Juliet for the newspaper, Mike? She asks him. The Newport players are doing the play tonight at the little theater. Yes, please, Aunt Peggy, Mike says. Thanks for asking me. That evening, he goes to Newport's little theater to see the play. Mike goes into the theater and sits at the front. He gets out his notebook and pen, ready to write notes for his review. There are a lot of people in the audience. 5 minutes later, the play begins. Marsha acts the part of Juliet's mother. She knows all her words and speaks them well. Mike is watching her. She's very pretty and she's doing her best. He thinks, but it's not easy to act the part of an older woman. She's only 16 or 17 years old and we'll all know it. He begins to write in his notebook. 2 hours later, the play ends and the audience leaves the theater. Mike goes home and writes his review for the newspapers. He doesn't feel very happy. It was a good play, but what can I say about the girl acting the part of Juliet's mother? He thinks, I want to be kind but I must be honest too. At the bookstore on Friday, Marsha reads Mike's review of the play in the Newport Weekly News. Marsha is angry. She looks at the name under the review. Mike Morrison. Who is the Mike Morrison? She thinks. What does he know about acting? Chapter 2. Marsha has an idea. On Tuesday evening the next week, Marsha and her friend Annie are drinking coffee in the Newport Cafe. Annie is a student at Newport College and sometimes in the evening she and Marsha meet at the cafe. Suddenly, Marsha sees a boy sitting at a table across the room. Who's that boy? She asks Annie. Annie laughs. Do you like him? He has a nice face, she says. His name's Mike. I often see him at the college. Mike, Marsha says. Mike who? Mike Morrison, Annie says. That's Mike Morrison, Marsha says. She is furious. Yes, why? Annie asks. He writes reviews for the Newport Weekly News. Marsha says, that's right. Annie says, his aunt is the editor. He, oh, she stops suddenly and looks at Marsha. The review of Romeo and Juliet. Right, Marsha says. Do you remember it? Marsha Baker acts the part of Juliet's mother. She has a pretty face and she speaks her words well. But she is a young girl in an older furious, very woman's costumes and we all know it. Nice face or no nice face. I hate him. Annie laughs. Okay, go and tell him. She says, go and say, I hate you, Mike Morrison. You write stupid reviews for the newspaper. Go on. But Marsha isn't laughing. Yes, all right, she says furiously, and she begins to get up from her chair. Then she stops suddenly. What's wrong? Annie asks. Are you afraid? No, Marsha says. I have a better idea. Does he come into this cafe often? Every Tuesday and Thursday evening, I think. Annie says. He has a writing class at the college and he comes here after it finishes. Marsha thinks for a minute or two. That's very interesting, she says at last. Is it? Annie says. She looks across at Mike Morrison, then at Marsha. Why is it interesting? What are you thinking of doing? Tell me, am I a good actress? Marsha asks. Yes, you are, Annie says, but... Okay, Marsha says, I am a good actress and I want to prove it to Mr. Mike Niceface Morrison. How do you want to do that? Annie asks. Marsha smiles and begins to tell Annie about her idea.